Before he became one of the most famous footballers on earth, before the trophies, the millions, and the headlines, there was a skinny kid from Brazil who played with nothing but a ball and a dream. But that dream would come with a price no one could have imagined. His name was Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. He was born on February 5th, 1992, in Mogi das Cruzes, Brazil. His family wasn't wealthy, but they shared one priceless passion: football. His father, Neymar Santos Sr., had once dreamed of becoming a professional footballer. When his own dream ended, he made a promise: his son's dream would never die. Money was tight. The family often struggled to make ends meet. Luxury wasn't part of Neymar's childhood, but every street, every empty lot, and every football became another lesson. While most children played for fun, Neymar played as if every match could change his future. His speed, balance, and fearless dribbling made him impossible to ignore. Soon, local coaches realized they weren't watching an ordinary kid. Every defender who tried to stop him ended up chasing shadows. Word about the young prodigy spread quickly across Sao Paulo. Bigger clubs started asking the same question: who is this boy? At just 11 years old, Neymar joined the famous Santos FC Academy, the same club that had once produced the legendary Pelé. It wasn't just another academy. It was the place where legends were born. Training became harder. Expectations became higher. Every single day was another test. And Neymar knew one mistake could end everything he had worked for. Then, something unbelievable happened. One of the biggest clubs in the world noticed the Brazilian teenager. It was an opportunity that could change his life forever, but accepting it meant leaving everything behind. Real Madrid saw something special in Neymar long before the world did. At just 14 years old, he traveled to Spain for a trial with the club's youth academy. The coaches were impressed, and many believed he had the talent to become their next superstar. But football isn't always decided on the pitch. At only 17 years old, that mission became reality. It didn't take long for the goals to arrive. Just 1 week later, Neymar scored his first professional goal. The teenage sensation had officially announced himself to Brazilian football. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. His dazzling dribbles, explosive acceleration, and fearless style reminded many people of a young Brazilian legend. Every match brought another magical moment. As the season continued, Neymar became the face of Santos. Stadiums filled with fans hoping to witness another unforgettable performance. The excitement around him grew bigger with every game. Then came the offers kept coming. Manchester City, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid all wanted Neymar. Every European giant believed he could become the future of football. But in May 2013, the wait was finally over. Neymar announced that he would join FC Barcelona, beginning a new chapter alongside some of the greatest players in the world. When he arrived at Camp Nou, millions of fans welcomed him with incredible excitement. But replacing expectations with success would be far more difficult than anyone imagined. Everything changed when Neymar stepped onto the pitch with Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez. Together, they formed the legendary MSN trio, a front line that defenders feared across Europe. Their chemistry looked effortless. Messi's vision, Suarez's finishing, and Neymar's dazzling skill turned Barcelona into one of the most dangerous teams football had ever seen. With every match, Neymar became more confident. His goals, assists, and fearless dribbling helped Barcelona dominate Spain and Europe. Then came the biggest challenge of all, the UEFA Champions League final against Juventus. Millions were watching, knowing history was only 90 minutes away. Barcelona delivered a world-class performance, and Neymar scored the final goal of the match, sealing a 3-1 victory and completing a historic treble of La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League in the 2014-15 season. At just 23 years old, Neymar had conquered Europe. He was no longer simply Brazil's brightest talent. He had become one of the best footballers on the planet. But the greatest night of his Barcelona career was still ahead. It would become a comeback so unbelievable that football fans would remember it forever. On February 14, 2017, Barcelona suffered one of the worst defeats in club history, losing 4-0 to Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League round of 16. Almost everyone believed their European journey was over. To reach the quarterfinals, Barcelona needed to score at least 5 goals without conceding more than one. It sounded impossible. Even many fans had already accepted elimination. When the second leg kicked off at Camp Nou, Barcelona attacked from the very first minute. The stadium believed, but time was running out. With only minutes left, Barcelona still needed 3 more goals. Then Neymar took control of the biggest stage. In the 88th minute, he curled a stunning free kick into the net. Hope returned. The impossible suddenly felt possible. Just moments later, Neymar calmly converted a penalty under unbelievable pressure. The scoreline moved one step. In the summer of 2017, football stood still. Rumors spread across Europe that Neymar was preparing to leave Barcelona. Most fans refused to believe it. Then the impossible became reality. Paris Saint-Germain activated Neymar's €222 million release clause, making him the most expensive footballer in history. No transfer had ever come close to that number. The football world asked the same question. Why would Neymar leave a team that had just dominated Europe? Many believed he wanted to step out of Lionel Messi's shadow and prove that he could lead a club on his own. Whether that was the only reason or not, one thing was certain. Neymar was ready for a new challenge. When he arrived in Paris, thousands of PSG supporters filled the stadium to welcome their new superstar. The pressure was enormous, but so were the expectations. Neymar didn't disappoint. He produced spectacular goals, incredible assists, and breathtaking skills that lit up League One. Week after week, he reminded everyone why PSG had invested a world record fee. But just as everything seemed perfect, injuries began to interrupt his momentum. Every time he looked unstoppable, another setback forced him off the pitch. Even through those difficult moments, Neymar remained one of PSG's biggest stars. His performances helped the club reach the UEFA Champions League final for the first time in its history in 2020. The dream of lifting Europe's biggest trophy was within reach. But once again, football had another pain. He had broken the world's transfer record. Yet the greatest prize of his career was still missing. And an even bigger heartbreak was just around the corner. Every great football career reaches a moment where talent alone is no longer enough. For Neymar, that moment arrived through injuries, heartbreak, and the weight of an entire nation. At the 2022 FIFA World Cup, Brazil once again believed their number 10 could finally bring home a 6th world title. Neymar carried not only the hopes of his teammates, but the dreams of millions of fans. Brazil fought their way into the quarterfinals and faced Croatia. In extra time, Neymar produced a moment of pure brilliance, scoring what many believed would be the winning goal. But football can be brutally unpredictable. Croatia found a late equalizer, sending the match to a penalty shootout. When the final penalty was scored, Brazil's World Cup dream was over. Neymar fell to the ground in tears, unable to hide the pain of another heartbreaking exit. In 2023, Neymar made another surprising move, joining Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Fans expected a fresh start and another unforgettable chapter. Instead, injuries returned once again. They limited his time on the pitch and raised difficult questions about what the future would hold for one of football's greatest entertainers. Then came the moment that touched football fans around the world. Neymar returned to Santos, the club where a little boy with impossible dreams had first captured everyone's attention. From the streets of Brazil to the biggest stadiums on earth, from unforgettable skills to historic trophies, Neymar built a career that inspired millions. Some remember him for the goals, others for the magic, but no one can deny the impact he left on football. His story is still being written. But one thing is already certain. Neymar didn't just play the game. He changed the way millions of people fell in love with it.